time now to delve into what is happening on the technology front. And we're taking a look at Native VML's Trends Report. We'll be looking at the trends in technology, biological research and mobile innovations and more with Lesedi Setlhatswe from Native VML. She's a researcher there. I hope I pronounced your surname correctly.
You did.
Perfect. Let's get into some of the innovations. I was looking through the report and it looks as though it's really vast, from healthcare to fashion to household goods as well. But maybe if you paint a broader picture with regard to the details here, what's exciting about the latest figures?
Our latest trend report covers, like you said, covers a broad spectrum of things. We're looking at one of the more exciting trends that I think of is the digital convergence with sort of our physical world. We look specifically at a thing from Amazon called the Amazon button. And basically this is technology that is bringing the Internet of Things into the home. And it allows you to make in-home purchases through this little button. So basically it attaches to your household appliances, and if, for example, if it was a washing machine, the button would be branded with a particular washing powder brand that you use. You then press this button when you have run out of that washing powder, and then it allows you to then automate these purchases through your smartphone devices. And then linking to the Amazon Dash service, it then allows you to buy these services and to buy these products, and then they're brought to your home on demand, which is quite cool.
Just as a broad overview, I'm happy that you touched on one of those, the innovation of regarding the Internet of Things. But how ready is the consumer market to some of these new innovations? Because in South Africa, I think the adoption is also quite slow.
In South Africa, the adoption is quite slow, but there are a lot of e-commerce sites. Currently, even Macro is moving towards an on-demand services. They've currently bringing out their courier boxes, which allow you to purchase online and then go to sort of a spot where you can then get your products that you've bought online at that particular spot. So there's definitely an appetite for that kind of service.
On the fashion front, I noticed a particular headline about footwear. What's it? Self-regulating footwear?
Self-regulating footwear, yes. These are called the protocell trainers. And basically through this biotechnology, they've created a trainer out of living organisms. And so it responds in real time to your foot. So then it basically covers your foot in a manner similar to a second skin. And so it would respond to the light, the heat, and the pressure that's felt by your foot, and then respond accordingly. So if there was a need to relieve pressure at a certain point, it would then be able to do that.
Oh my gosh!
But this technology isn't available right now, but it's far into the future.
It's an indication of where we're going, yes, as you allude to. Not only in the fashion as well, but I understand in healthcare, and there was one particular one that really struck a chord with me, a picture of a little child who actually suffers from seizures.
Yes. What you're speaking about is the Embrace smartwatch. And basically this is a smartwatch that collects your data, similar to all smartwatches, and then it basically allows you to track when a child is going to have epileptic seizures. It then links to your smartphone and allows you to then be alerted when your child is going to get a seizure, and then over time it would collect their personal data and then be able to preempt those seizures. So then you can sort of anticipate them and comfort or take the necessary precautions in order to avoid the seizures.
There are a lot of other insights that were published in the report, even the 1 Rand man who worked together with Sanlam to basically get his salary within 1 Rand coins, and obviously learned quite a lot with regard to financial discipline on that. But for corporate companies who read this kind of report, is this basically a way of alerting them to the changes and the environment that they need to adapt to in order to meet consumers' needs? I
think this is a report basically from the view of advertisers. It's brand specific. It looks at the trends that the consumer trends and what exactly they're looking for. And you speak about the 1 Rand man. What's interesting about that social experiment is that it speaks more about a social issue as opposed to pushing a product to the people. And that is really what people are looking for. They're looking for authentic connections with brands as opposed to them just saying, buy my product. And so and it's a really interesting piece of work in that it lives in people's lives longer than the actual campaign aired for. So people are now thinking more more smarter about the way that they use their money, about their saving habits and their spending habits. And this kind of work really does speak to our own values as Native VML, which is work that really advertising that lives in people's lives, that provides some kind of purpose and some kind of value for them. And I think we as an industry need to move from that sort of pushing people to see our adverts in our advertising and sort of encourage them to create a conversation and to really engage with their social issues.
Lesedi, that's a good note to leave it on. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
And for taking us through the Native VML report. That is Lesedi Setlhatswe, who is a researcher at Native VML.